So what's the difference between where you are now and where you want to be? For me, it was mentors. Mentors changed my life. You want to do big things, you've got to learn from the top. Go straight to the top. That's what I've always said. The problem is, most people think you got to go to college, and college is okay, but it's not what it was like if you were growing up in the 1960s. The difficulty is, because most people understand the old saying, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time around. So they realize if they could spend time around better and better mentors, it would elevate their game. The problem is, how do you find the mentors? How do you know which mentors know what they're talking about? A little about me, my name's Tai Lopez. You might have seen me on the internet and Instagram and YouTube. And people don't always know the backstory, but what really changed my life, I spent most of my teenage years, I grew up in a mobile home in Clayton, North Carolina. My parents weren't business owners or anything like that. And what changed my life in terms of me becoming an entrepreneur was at age 19, right out of high school, I went with this guy named Joel Salatin, who's now pretty well known, and he was on a farm, and he started mentoring me and teaching me what he had learned over the last 30 years of his life as an entrepreneur. And I took that same model once I was done on that farm in that kind of internship, apprenticeship with my first mentor, and I went out, and over the next 5 years, I found 5 mentors. And since then, I've found more, and multimillionaires, authors, scientists, geniuses, and people that ran charities and people that were changing the world, not just financially, but also just all around amazing people. And that is what I attribute 90% of my success to. I went from making $100 a month to figuring out how to make 100 grand a year, 100 grand a month, 100 grand a week, 100 grand a day with business. And I can tell you, if you're trying to do big things on your own, you're not learning from the example of, Bill Gates said he never did anything alone. He had mentors, Paul Allen. If you look at Mark Zuckerberg, he was mentored by Steve Jobs when Facebook was kind of having rough times. If you look at, Oprah Winfrey, she had a mentor that told her, don't just be a news anchor, make your own TV show. And she went on to be worth $2 billion. Even Albert Einstein. Albert Einstein had a mentor he met with at every Thursday, a mathematician who would invite him into his family, and that changed Einstein's life. Alexander the Great, over 1,000 years ago, had Aristotle as his personal mentor. So if you can find mentors, trust me, it is a game changer. Even to this day, I was just working on a new company, an investment fund, and I went out and I found this guy in San Francisco who's the biggest angel list investor in history. He has 40 syndicates. And I got him to I just sat down with him for an hour. And that 1 hour, he just laid out like 30 years of his life experience as an investor and just handed it to me. Like I said, it's easier for me to find those people now. As you become an entrepreneur, you meet other entrepreneurs. Wherever you are in life, I got good news and bad news. What do you want to hear first? The bad, the good. I think of the movie Godfather. They said the Godfather liked to hear the bad news first. So here's the bad news. The bad news is the system is stacked against you. You learn by just being lectured in junior high and high school on subjects that may or may not be very practical and relevant. You go into college, it's the same thing. I'm not saying no one should go to college. I'm not saying that all teachers are doing it wrong. What I am saying is, without a doubt, it's lifelong learning now that'll change your life. It's not what you just learn in 4 years from 18 to 22. There's a great book, Steven Johnson, he's an author, best-selling author, and he says, at the speed of change in the world, everything you learn becomes obsolete at about 20%. Every 5 years, what you learn is kind of obsolete. So what I've done is make this lifelong practice of finding mentors. Here's the good news. Well, also part of the bad news is it cost me a lot of money, millions of dollars. I spend over $100,000 a month now on traveling, flying people in, going to conferences, trainers, mentors for health, wealth, love, and happiness, all those different subjects. And when I started out, I didn't even have $100. So the bad news is, to really get the best mentors, you got to be doing a lot of traveling if you want to meet them in person. You have to spend money, not just on travel, but there's, whether it be conferences or hiring consultants one-on-one. So The good news is I built a system in 2014 called the 67 Steps. And I launched it July 25th, 2014. So it's been 3-4 years. Now, over 150,000 people have gone through this system. And it's been amazing. Like everywhere I go, we've had people in 90 countries, men, women, young, old, go through it. And I basically, in 2014, I recorded 67 videos. I read this article that said it takes 66 days to change your life, to change your habits on average. So I was like, what's the top 66 things I learned from these, 10, 15, 20, 30 mentors? And I wrote it all on a board. At first it was 300 and I was like, that's way too many. Nobody can remember these. So I wrote it down and I said, let's condense it into just 66 because I had read this article. So we condensed it down, and then my cousin Maya was like, 66 sounds like 666, the sign of the devil. So I decided to add one more, and I created this thing in July 2014, the 67 Steps. So if you haven't gone through it, more people have gone through this than most universities have. So it's a simple, you can see, you'll get a special password-protected members-only site. You click through the videos. A lot of people do it on their phone. There's audio or video. I recommend you listen to one video a day, one video a week, whatever. You can go through it in as quick as 67 days. Some people even go faster. Some people go slower. I'm going to put a link below or somewhere on this page. You click that. And I've got something very special. I'm going to give you a free trial access. Okay? Just because, you might never heard of something. It sounds kind of weird. What is this 67 steps? Is this for real? So I'm going to give you absolute free trial period. And then if you want to stay past the trial period, I set the price really low. You'll see. It's like super low. Like college is what, $10,000 a year? This is, just look, you'll see. Click the link. And then on top of that, if you decide to stay in the program, okay, and go through more and more videos, if it still doesn't work out for you, there's a 100% money back guarantee. So basically, it's a little different than college. There's $1.2 trillion in college debt, and some people feel like they weren't able to get a job afterwards, and they're kind of mad at their education. I just was like, look, I'll stand behind this. These 67 steps have changed. If you'll see when you get in, when you click the button, go to the free trial, you'll see the first video has comments by people back to 2014, and there's like 70 or 80,000 or even more positive comments. Imagine you went to Amazon and you were looking at a book or a product and it had 80,000 five-star reviews. So you'll see, 67 steps. I use it every single day. I own multiple businesses. I like I said, I launched a business mentor box last year. It's a 8-figure business in the first year. How did I do it? People ask, is it like, did I inherit money? I'm like, no, you have to have the foundational principles. Imagine downloading the intelligence of, 50, 60 different mentors right into your brain, 30 years of their experience. That's what this program did for me. I use it every day in my own mind. I go through these 67 steps. So click the link. I will see you on the inside. I promise you, if this is something you actually apply to your life, is a game changer. Okay? So I'll see you on the inside.